All right. Hello, hello, everybody. Hello. What is going on? What is up? What's going on, everybody? How's it been? It's been so long since I just saw you 3 seconds ago. I'm fighting for my life over here, guys, by the way. These new updates. All right. Hopefully, more people are able to get here before I mess something up and then I'm suddenly not able to do this. I am struggling. I'm not gonna lie, guys, but I appreciate you all. So I'm gonna put a music for a couple minutes just to let people come back into the stream, and then we'll get to it. There we go. Thank you for joining me today. We'll get right to it in a few minutes.
Florabella on my screen. Her smile it shines so bright. She's a queen with every scene. In the morning or the night. Recipes and good vibes flow. Every video a gem. Her confidence it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora. She's got that power. Spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. With every like and every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong, she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora. She's got that power. Spreading her aura. Blossoming like a flower. Recipes and good vibes flow. Every video a gem. Her confidence it grows and grows. We're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora. She's got that power. Spreading her aura. Blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong. Every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong, she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora. She's got that power. Spreading her aura. Blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows. She's where we all belong.
All right, everybody. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for coming right back. I know I was gone for a few minutes, but I was trying to toggle with my media. Things are a little bit different since I've been streaming regularly. So just bear with me, guys. Might be a few hiccups still, but I think we should be good. All right. So, like the title says, I'm here because I want to have this conversation, right? There's a lot that's happening right now. You have the Nolan Wells, you have Carmelo Anthony, you have where people being found hung, black women being found hung. There's just so much that's happening in the actual world, and then you have the media, and the media is playing its role as well. When we were just in the last stream a couple minutes ago, somebody talked about how They believe that this country, this world, whatever, is headed for an all out war. And I truly believe that white supremacists, MAGA media, MAGA Barbies, and all these people who are online spreading racial animus and hatred, they're contributing to what could be really detrimental for our society. All right. America is not a country that was white exclusive. I don't know who told these delusional people that, right? I don't know who told delusional Confederates that this nation was an all white nation. It's always been a nation that required people from many different parts of the world to function. All right. But somehow, somehow we've turned back the hands of time, and folks have they really dug into that old mindset, that old mentality. All right. Now, one thing I want to say is, although I'm here to bring facts and to expose the way the media is speaking, I have no intentions of silencing anybody or expecting people to agree with me. That's not what I'm here to do. But I expect people to not come in here, start trying to call me racist, race baiter, race this, you're racist, you're a black racist, you're a black Karen. I don't want to hear none of that. None of it. This country has a very long historical record of racial animus, racism, prejudice, white supremacy, that little delusion. We need to start calling it what it is. There's a long history of that. And that is not just people going out with pitchforks and being violent, right? That's a big part of it. But it's also how we spin stories, how we talk about stories that happen to black people, how we talk about black people, the language that we use when we speak about black people. All of that, culminates into the racial animus that we see today. And it's not just online. People want to come and be like, oh, this is just online. These are psyops. This is a bot. These are white bots. They're not real people. It's people from Indonesia typing. No, there's enough going on in society. There's a lot of real things that black people are going through today that should let you know this. All right. It should let you know that this is not a digital war issue. This is what people feel. This is how people are voting. That's why our country looks the way it does, right? This is all interconnected with our lives here right now in this country, in the United States. All right, that's the reality. We're not living in a post-racial society. This was never a post-racial society, but now we're blatantly aware that we're back in the times where media blatantly is going to be using their voice to spread hatred, stereotypes, to speak negatively and to speak down on black people, especially black women. Right? Because Megyn Kelly isn't the only person attacking black women in the WNBA. It's a major issue, right? There's a lot of disrespect called trolling nowadays, right? Because people just mask their racism and call it trolls, and they act like it's okay what's going on online. But the reality is there are real people behind the animus and the messages. And people like Megyn Kelly, this bird with her 2 packs of extensions that she got on her thin fried scalp, she doesn't care that she could be influencing other people who maybe they're on the fringe, maybe I'm not on the fringe, maybe they're on the border. She doesn't care that she could be influencing those people to hold prejudicial views that are actually going to end up hurting people. She doesn't care. She doesn't care how she talks about black women, right? She thinks that this is in America where if a black woman has any type of success, lives in any type of a successful family, she makes money, that means it's post-racial. There's nothing else going on here. If you're in the WNBA and you earn a salary, you're privileged. Shut up. Don't talk about white privilege. That's what I'm hearing here. I'm hearing shut up and dribble in MAGA Barbie language. And so instead of talking your ear off all night, I certainly am going to talk, but we're going to go and we're going to listen to what she says, what people like her are getting online and saying about black people, and how they're having these conversations. Because it's not just that they're online talking about black people. It's specifically the language that they're using to describe people, the stereotypes, the animus, all of it. And I'm here to break it down because I'm sick and tired of seeing this. I've seen it in so many different ways. And it's not just Megyn Kelly, but she's one of the people who is. All right, so let's get started. Um, Do me a favor while you guys are here. If you can, please just hit the like button for me. I would greatly appreciate it. If there's no sound, please let me know if there's a sound issue, but everything should be good. All right, let's get into it.
Yesterday on the show, we were talking about this Dejanay Carrington, who plays for the
Dejanay.
Sky, and she committed this obviously intentional foul against Sophie Cunny.
Obviously intentional. You know what's obviously intentional? It's obviously intentional for you to add packets and packets of thin extensions to your hair. That's why we can see this is what we call a bad weave, ladies and gentlemen. So while she's sitting here mispronouncing Dejanay, she's using the language to be discriminatory, but we're seeing live in action somebody not buy the correct number of packets of clip-on hair extensions. We're seeing it right here. Listen, most of us can spot a bad weave. That's a bad weave. How is me saying that her tilted ass clip-in extensions? How is me saying that her clip-ins? I'm sorry. How is me saying that her clip-ins are crooked and cheap? How is that me being racist? Tell me how I can systemically disenfranchise her by telling her that she has boneless weave in her hair. Huh? Tell me, Nate. Please. You guys be on here just crying. I'm not even on subject yet. I just wanted to address because the weave is like flying in the wind. You see 2-3 different lengths there. Whoever put this boneless weave on her head obviously didn't do a good job. Okay? And yet she is already starting with the like, oh, let me pronounce her name, Dejanay. Dejanay. And then you have this one here. She can't even hold the MAGA smile. Okay? What's racist about that? I'm probably not the only one who has recognized that her weave is boneless. I'm not the only one. So don't turn that into racial epithets. When you start hearing her talk, let me know if you hear anything racial in that. All right, let's get into it.
And could have really hurt her, like got her by the neck. And added the Indiana Fever. And she tagged the Indiana Fever. Clear what happened.
A drama.
A bunch of shit for like, how dare she call white
drama. Is that how we do professional? Is that how we do professional? What do you call it? Commentary on real racial issues. Drama. So what we have here is two Bekishas. All right. They're talking about women's sports, and they're claiming that somebody was flagrantly abused. Okay, that's what they're talking about here. They're saying that Dejanay, the girl who they were purposely mispronouncing her name, who was violently, aggressively attacking a mediocre white woman playing basketball against her. Okay, and we're gonna see all these clips because she even has the audacity to play the clip for us. All right, let's continue.
Privilege in the WNBA? What? Come on. To substantiate. One. Okay.
Oh,
now,
hold on.
Let me tell you something about this girl.
Wait, was that a black scent? Hold on, Megyn. Are you attempting to speak like Dejanay with a black scent? Huh.
Having the proper evidence to substantiate it. And she said that it's on the last thing from ignorant or asinine when it comes to speaking on white privilege. Do ya research on that one. Okay. Now,
do ya research on that one. Was that you putting a little flair in it, Megyn? Can you guys hear it? Can you hear the audio playback? That's the most important. If you're having trouble hearing, just let me know so I can fix it now and try to figure out what's going on. No, but you see how she put that little mayo spin on it? Do ya hear me? Do ya hear me? Every time these people try to mimic black people, it doesn't even sound right. Like it just sounds ridiculous. Let's hear her again with her little dramatic read. Okay. And the reason why I'm focusing on this, because you don't have to explicitly say, oh, she's a ghetto bonquisha. You just have to pretend to mimic her in a very stereotypical way. And that's what she's doing here. So let's hear her little bonquisha accent that she thinks is cute.
Social weight it holds without having the proper evidence to substantiate it. And she said that it's on the last thing from ignorant or asinine when it comes to speaking on white privilege. Do ya research on that one.
Oh, you seen her open up that mouth?
About this girl. So first,
you guys say, do ya research? And this one here, she knows that they're being messy. That's why you can kind of see that like half smile in the bird, the crow's thing nest that she has on the side of her eyes. You can see that they're building up. Very cringe because when these people attempt to stereotype and speak poorly about black women and their accents, it's almost always this cartoonish characteristic way of trying to mimic people, to try and make people seem like they're less intelligent than her. That woman that she's speaking about, right? And we're going to see Jason Whitlock, little Dusty behind, talk about her as well. She went to an Ivy League. I don't know if that's an Ivy League, actually. Let me not speak wrong. But she went to a very, very prestigious university. She played basketball there, right? But they're minimizing her to a to a ghetto little black accent. All right, let's continue.
First of all, 2 points. Jason Whitlock. I got a lot of thoughts. Jason Whitlock tweeted out a full screen, a picture of Dejanay when she graduated from Stanford. Here it is. And Dejanay now.
What does that have to do with anything?
This is what got me talking about the braids. It's like, look at her on the right. She's got hair that's whiter than mine, straighter than...
So this is where, okay, so let me just tell, this is where Megyn Kelly got it fucked up. You don't get to speak on what black women do with their hair, with their looks. That's not your business. Just like you went and purchased that thin, sparse bag of clip-in weave to put a couple right here and think because you're white, nobody's going to know that you have boneless weave in your hair, right? Just like you went up into that shop and you bought them cheap-ass extensions and you clipped 2 pieces of them to the top of your head before you started this live stream or newscast, whatever it is. Just like you did that, Dejanay is allowed to look and dress and wear her hair however the hell she wants. Why are we policing how black women look? Why are we policing how black women look? Because what does that have to do with anything that she has to say about the WNBA, about white privilege, about how she's treated by the white media? What does any of that have to do with it? And apparently she was talking about braids in another video. What the hell do you have anything to know about braids? And what, again, does that have to do with her opinion on white privilege? You know, we get so far off, and you know, people are so comfortable with these white women getting online, and this is virtue signaling, by the way. Like, this is her calling out to Maga and saying, I'm here, I'm ready to get on my knees. I'm ready to get on my knees and slurp up MAGA peen for me to get my coin, because they know, right? This is what's selling today. Degrading black people, black women, talking about our looks, calling us ghetto. It's always made a lot of money. It's always made a lot of money, because what does her looks, when she was a college graduate, have to do with her and the WNBA today? All right. Can we look at you, Megyn Kelly, when you were in college versus what you look like now? What conclusions could we come up with about what you've gone through in life based off of how you look now versus how you looked when you were in college? This is racial virtue signaling, right? This is letting the little MAGA racists know, listen, I don't like black women either. Yep, I'm going to get up here and drag too. Look at what the ghetto WNBA... Mind you, all of this because these white women can't hang on the court. Because nobody would be sitting here crying about, oh, foul this, foul that, if we were talking about men's basketball, men's sports. It's because we're talking about a sport that black women play the best, that now we're going to talk about who's violent and who's not, and how the WNBA is what is making these people into what? Women who wear weave of whatever color they want and look better than you and age backwards. Is that what we're doing now? This is a rich girl that wants to be a victim. Also, white women are the best. You, first of all, you couldn't even possibly believe that. You couldn't even possibly believe that. That's why you put it in the chat. You know damn well, especially the one that they want to talk about so much, Sophie Cunningham, that those girls are mediocre compared to the majority of these women in the WNBA. They're mediocre. But because white people want to come into another sport and try to, let their nuts hang on somebody, they want to let their nuts hang on black women because they found a few mediocre white girls that can hit a few three-point jump shots. Right? That's what they're doing right now. This is not about you people acting like white women are the best players in WNBA. You know that's not true. That's why the majority, 70% of the NBA is black women. Name another field that black women are the majority. Okay? I don't want to hear anything about, white women are the best in the W. They're irrelevant. They're only relevant when they're attacking black women, just like Megyn Kelly is doing as a grown woman. What is you and what you do on your bald head have to do with what women do with their hair? You're not a woman. Why do you always compare yourselves to what women do? This is what bothers me about some of you bandits. What does what you're doing on your bald head have to do with women changing their looks? What does that have to do with when you guys get on here and you agree with these people who ultimately are anti-black? And you think because you guys are always having wig wars that the time to talk about black women's hair is when white women are racially virtue signaling to Maga. I don't understand when these wig wars are going to end. Most of the time, you guys aren't even paying for the wigs. So what are you worried about? It's not you pay. You don't even have the money to pay for a wig. I never desired to wear my hair like white men. I bet if it was cool, a bunch of you guys would throw on silky toupees. Just like black women were wearing weave, we know a lot of y'all were throwing that S curl on your hair, trying to get them silky Dominican hair curls, right? We know. Like, this is one thing that bothers me. If it's not a Bekisha speaking on black women like this, it'll be a bandit right behind her. And we're going to talk about one of those bandits today. Let's continue, though.
Mine, super long. It goes down to her butt now. And, but so she can wear this, which is obviously white girl hair. But I can't wear a braid or I'm a racist. Or in Canada.
Mommy, nobody's getting weave from white girls. Why would we buy license? Okay, I'm trying to be good.
A feather. No, you can't do it. But this is fine. She's allowed to culturally appropriate from me, but I can't culturally appropriate from her because it only works one way in becoming a racist, which is bullshit. But his point was more about look at how she looks now. Can you put that back up there? Like, she appears to have done something like to give herself filler face, like the super puff.
Listen, it's not even about that. The thing that bothers me with you bandits is really the fact that you guys jump in and try to give credence to these old, tired arguments that white women make. Who cares? You're not a woman, so what do you care what women adorn their heads with? You're talking about women. You're talking about women here. Why are you comparing what is on your head to what's on a woman's head? That's my issue. You don't have to insult me. If you come in here being condescending and saying, well, I kind of agree. I never wanted to wear my hair like white men, but you want their women, right? But you want to marry their women. You want to have kids with their women. You guys are so quick to say you don't want nothing from white men, but you guys be the first ones married, reproducing, living in the neighborhoods of white women. I don't understand this. This country has never made it easy for black women to wear their hair. So if black women want to express themselves however they want, who are you to jump into this conversation and be like, oh, well, I agree with the white woman. I never wanted to wear the white man hair before. Oh, listen, my name something. I like my name something. I like to wear my hair in a 2.0 fade. I don't need to wear all that weave. Why are you worried about what women are doing on their head? And why is it that you bandits come in here to agree with white women when we're talking about white supremacy in the media? This is the thing that really gets me with you guys. Either you are just a troll bandit page that's really a white person that's trying to justify this, or you're just a loser. And your opinion is useless in this conversation because you're not willing to see things outside of your own pig-headed opinion. It's not about what she has on her head. It's about the fact that why are we policing what black women are wearing on their head? And what does what she has on her head have to do with white privilege and her experiences with white people? But you guys just allow yourselves to get distracted. You allow yourselves to just focus on your hatred for black women. I don't care if you married a black woman. I don't care if all your kids are black. I don't care. That has nothing to do with your opinion being harmful and you being very quick to jump out here and speak negatively about people who look just like you. That's my issue. Because this has nothing to do with this very intelligent woman's opinion on white privilege. It has nothing to do with that. Right? We're talking about the media. You can say that I'm upset or whatever. We're here to talk about the media and how the language that they use and the dog whistles that they have, right? How that impacts our lives. All of that. We're kind of reversing back into a time where now we get to police black people. Oh, so we're not, let's take it off weave. Oh no, them Jordans. Oh no, he looks ghetto. He looks like his name is Tyrone. Let me guess, your name Jaquarius? It doesn't have to be hair. They will find anything. And the fact that you guys come in here when other people are racially profiling, because it's not, they might not be calling black women violent, but when they sit here and talk about our weave and how we're this and we're that, it's the same thing. Stereotyping, racial profiling. But you guys come in here and you just agree with Big Keisha just to do it, just to be a contrarian. And you don't even understand how the media is playing you guys. They play on your hatred for black women and how you hate what we do and our independence and our ability to speak for ourselves. They play on that. And then they go online and they take your little opinions and they disparage black women that have done nothing to them, who are simply speaking about their experience. It doesn't matter the fact that her hair was black when she was in college and it's blonde when she has free will. It means nothing. It means nothing. But people like you will come in here and try to change the conversation and be like, well, I never tried to wear white man hair before. So I don't know nothing. I never wanted to look like that white man. So maybe she right about something with this girl. That's what you guys come in here and do, sounding stupid, sounding ignorant when we're trying to have a conversation about race. Let's continue.
Out cheekbones, the like overly arched eyebrows, the like overly lined lips, and like the tude, with like the facial expression and the bright blonde hair, as opposed to the stunningly gorgeous person she was in the picture from Stanford, where she just looks like a normal, gorgeous gal.
Mind you, this is virtue signaling, right? This is like, because she's wearing weave in both the pictures, bust down in both the pictures, gorgeous in both the pictures. But notice how she's saying, well, you look appropriate. You look acceptable to us in that first picture, right? You look good. This is what we want to see. The second one, we don't like it. We don't like your freedom of expression. That's the evil side of you. Right? You shouldn't just care about your race. You should care about your race no matter what. You shouldn't be like, well, I'm not going to defend the girls that got weave on. If she had weave, I'm not going to speak about what she went through. She deserved that. Why are you wearing white women's hair? That's what you people do. That's what some of you bandits get up here and do when we're trying to have real conversations. And it's irritating. So if y'all want to yank him out of there, you can. I'm tired of these people coming in here for attention. I'm tired of it. This is a self-hating bandit right here. Because at the end of the day, these same bandits, some of these bandits will defend people in the commission of crime if they're black men. Let it be a black woman innocent. And they'll be like, well, was she being loud and ghetto? Well, I have experience with that. Well, some black women I know are loud and ghetto. That's what these sample bandits will do. So let's stay on topic.
And Jason Whitlock, he's amazing. He posted on X, quote, "Look at what the WNBA stole from us. The young lady on the left is the dream of every black father and every black son. The woman on the right is feminism's creation and a nightmare. Dejanay Carrington in both pictures, one in college, the other in the WNBA." Right on. I totally agree with him. And it's also the place that she started to talk like she talked in that post. She sounded like a normal person in her videos from Stanford and get this attitude, right? It was the WNBA that did this to her, not Stanford. Which is why you shouldn't send your daughter there. This league corrupts you in a...
Look at that. So a league that employs 70% black women, right? She wants women to opt out of it. A league that has struggled to get the attention, the money, the support, the viewership that the NBA has gotten despite their talent, despite their hard work. She's literally telling people abandon this whole thing institution. It benefits too many black women. Look at what these black women come up with when they get when they become part of an institution and they're the majority. She's literally calling for black women to lose their jobs because she's saying, stop going to the WNBA. Don't send your daughters there. They're going to become ghetto as soon as they join the WNBA. Comparing videos that a girl took while she was in college and professional and looking to get deals and sponsorships and make money, comparing that to her responses to the animus that she's getting online from people. Imagine that. You know, one thing that is that white people will never stop doing is trying to police how we should speak, how we express ourselves. This is the same white media who will prop up, give money to a white girl who gets online and says, "Catch me outside, how about that? Catch me outside." 100 black girls will say that every day. They won't get $1 for it. They'll be stereotyped. They'll be racially profiled. Some of them will be gunned down in corner stores for that same attitude that a Bekisha can come up on here, play costume with. Everyone calls her so interesting, so smart. So, oh my God, look at her. She's full of culture. But she's basically implying that a bunch of college-educated, athletic women, right, are turning women who are coming from prestigious universities into ghetto, whatever it is that she's trying to call them, right? And she used Jason Whitlock's words. That's why I'm hard on bandits, because these bandits really think they're so smart. They're so stupid and ignorant. Do you think Megyn Kelly's going to go read my opinion or a detailed stream that someone like Taz Exclusive would do? You think she's gonna break down a video that Cynthia Jeep did or a video that Nihilus has put out about racism and racial bias in society? She will never give a voice to black people who are truly speaking up for real issues. No, she's gonna go get a coon who's gonna say exactly what she needs him to say, which is that black women in the WNBA are corrupting good, healthy women from college and turning them into these ghetto, lesbian, whatever name or stereotype stud that they're trying to give. Forget Aja Wilson and her boo. Forget all the other women in the WNBA who have been holding it down with very little publicity over the years. She wants all the women who have ever wanted to go to the WNBA, change your course. Because if you go to the WNBA, you're going to turn out to be ghetto, just like these 70% of black women are in the WNBA. So she's calling for 70% of the WNBA, right? The black women who are holding it to lose their jobs, for people not to support them. Oh, that they're turning these girls that are coming in innocent into ghetto, almost like they're turning them out, like they're turning tricks with WNBA players. The fact that people just sit and listen to these takes, and what gets me is that people sit and they listen to these takes And they're not going to look at it for what it is. They're going to agree with the little parts like, oh, you must not like your own hair. You must not think you're beautiful or something. Oh, I got a black wife. And since I make my black wife only do what I want her to do with her hair, and I control her, I could come in here when you're trying to have a real discussion and try to discredit you and basically create the media that these racist people are looking for, where you're critiquing and degrading your own people. Jason Whitlock is another coon. He's another coon who will literally criticize and critique black women until he's dead and gone because it sells. It sells. It's insane. She's really dumb. Megyn Kelly is really, really dumb. And I bet you she's not anywhere near as athletic as any of these women. But I promise you, she's up here talking and speaking down on these women based off of their hair. Off of their hair. Imagine acting like something is ruined with her. Mind you, I'm going to show the video of this Sophie Cunningham who's over there acting like a YN, swinging at people. And when she gets kicked out, she tries to say, oh, how do white people have privilege? I mean, it's just moronic. All right, so let's continue.
Very sick and unhealthy way. And then one final point. Her privilege claim. Okay. This woman, her dad was in the NFL and apparently was like really good. Standout safety in the NFL. Who played in not one, but two Super Bowls.
Okay, so again, another dog whistle. And I hate that I'm pausing where you can see that she bought very cheap clip-on extensions. The second airhead doesn't even have anything to say. She's just probably staring at herself in the camera.
During his 8-year professional career, her mother, Vicky, was a star track athlete. She attended Horizon Christian Academy, a private K-12 school in San Diego. It closed in 2018, but her tuition there averaged between $8,000 and $11,000 a year. And this was back, quite a few years ago when she was in grade school. Modern day estimates would put that around $17,000 for kindergarten, up to $20,000 a year for high school. She became a highly touted prospect who played for elite programs. She attended Stanford University.
See, this is why you don't have conversations with white people when they're trying to tell you, oh, look, we have a black president. Oh, look, a black person has some money. There can't possibly be racism because this is what they will do. She's attempting to discredit the racial experience that black people have. She's basically talking about her class and trying to say, well, how are you going to talk about white privilege when you have class privilege? Whose fault is that? How many wealthy black people have still had the police called on them, have still been racially profiled, have still had to deal with prejudice in the workplace, in education, in public spaces? What does any of this have to do with the reality of the country we live in? There's plenty of rich white people. Does that mean that people in rural white America aren't suffering? Yeah. 40% of white people make good money, so the rest of you guys must all be rich. All white people are rich. That's like saying that, and it's just a ridiculous argument. But these people don't have anything to go on. The only thing they can do is say, well, look, we allowed you to be rich. As if being wealthy doesn't take a lot of hard work and dedication. Her dad being an elite athlete is more than just privilege. That's talent. You being born of talentless parents is your own fault, your own family's fault. She's not privileged because her parents worked hard. That's not privilege. At the end of the day, some of you will see all the money and education and the privilege she has and still racially stereotype her, right? Because her with blonde weave versus black weave, that's her being corrupted by the WNBA. Her money doesn't matter. That's why we're sitting here and you're talking about her hair and you're using a black accent to describe how she speaks and you're degrading her intellect despite everything that she has. That's not privilege, right? That's the fruits of your labor. When you work hard in this country, yes, you can get something. That doesn't change her experiences when she deals with a lot of you cave beasts. And notice how nobody's doing think pieces on Caitlin Clark looking like a little boy. No one's doing that. No one's dragging her looks every day. We say it in response to this animus that someone like Angel Reese or these other people will get. I really don't understand how you can sit here and try to do respectability politics with somebody who is way more educated than both you and that round Bekisha on the screen with you. I don't understand that. And then you have Coons coming in here. You're corrupted by European influence. Shut the hell up. What does anything I'm saying have to do with European? Shut the hell up. Because Megyn Kelly is going to go find a coon like you to take your messages and use it to make her argument and be like, see, just like she invoked Jason Whitlock a second ago, she would say, oh yeah, see this Trion said. He said black women are just obsessed with European influence and weave, and they let weave corrupt them. They let feminism corrupt them. That's a dog whistle. That's virtue signaling. She wants white MAGA dollars. This isn't even about her own opinion. It's about money. MAGA pays. Stupid ass MAGA people will pay. They will pay to hear some ignorant lady like this talk about black women in such a degrading way. He's a moron, Empress. Moron. He's been here this whole time keeping for white folks trying to jump. So if that's a real black man, which I see a lot of these people like that online, so I'm not even going to act like he's automatically a troll. He's a moron. Because this is not about her hair. This is not about the fact that her parents work really hard in this country and probably still face racial bias. It's not about that. What does anything like that have to do with the fact that her skin color still affects her? Her skin color still affects her. That's how a mediocre Sophia Cunningham can come here and start invoking this and that and just calling black people out and saying, oh, see, I supposedly have white privilege. No, you just suck at basketball. That's why you got kicked out. That's why you didn't make the layup. That's why a little bit of defense knocked your little non-milk drinking self down. They will take their lack of talent and flip that into some type of victimhood. That's what Megyn Kelly's attempting to do for this girl. Let's continue.
City and finished up her college career at Baylor. I don't know about you, but I didn't go to a fancy private school.
We can see
$20,000 a year.
We can see.
Or have both of my parents in the home since my dad died when I was 15.
That sounds like a personal issue. That sounds like you're trying to play victimhood and say, well, see, she was more privileged than me. She had two parents in the house. She went to a wealthy school. Her parents worked hard. Whose fault is that? Nobody. Her parents chose to work hard. What does that have to do with your dad kicking the bucket when you were 15 years old? It doesn't change the fact that nobody looks at you and comes up with stereotypes, tries to take things away from you, tries to look down on you and your intellect simply because of the color of your skin. It doesn't change any of that. Even with a dead daddy, you probably still have more privilege than her. I don't understand these people trying to compare themselves to people because of their money. If a black person doesn't work hard, they're not going to have a damn thing in this country. So her parents working hard, how does that change anything? You can tell, of course, you can tell. She's probably not the life of the party. She probably gets hammered, drinking wine all day, smelling, just on social media all day, no personality, no hobbies, no nothing. You can tell. Because everything that she does is for profit. She gets on here and she starts speaking about black women because she knows there's a MAGA audience. There's MAGA people who want to hear that. They want to see that. They get online and they're excited to talk about black folks. They're excited to degrade black women because if you focus on black women and what we look like in our hair and how we speak and whether or not white privilege exists, you don't have to focus on the issues in your own community. You don't have to talk about how some of these WNBA stars are flopping in their careers right now. They're not even remarkable on the court when you compare them to other basketball WNBA players. They're unremarkable. And so you have to have all this racial, oh my God, look at how ghetto these black women are. Stop sending your daughters to the WNBA. That's why you have to do all this.
Both of them earning, both of them with enormous privilege thanks to their incredible God-given talents in the athletic field. One who was a double NFL Super Bowl player. How dare she?
No, first of all, no athletic talent is God-given. You have to work out, right? God can give you your body, but if you choose to smoke crack, sell drugs, and run the streets, that's what you will become. If you're given an athletic body and you work hard and you do what you need to do, you might just be one of the few people who become an athlete. Yeah, it comes across like jealousy, comparing the fact that she had two parents and using these typical ridiculous arguments. I mean, she's immature. This lady's like 50 plus years old. You're talking about a 20-something, 30-something year old woman, and you're in your 50s, and you're comparing her and literally trying to erase racial bias in this country, racial animus in this country, just because you didn't have a father after you were 15. I mean, it's just giving moron. It's giving moron with a cheap clip and weave. And this one has not. This one on the side, she don't have nothing remarkable to say. The only thing she's doing is staring at herself in the camera, looking at how stupid she looks every time she sits here and listens to something that Megyn Kelly is saying.
Try to play the white privilege card.
Actually, having two parents in your home is more predictive as a privilege of getting good grades than is money. So that in and of itself, which sets her apart from.
Okay, so you guys want to focus on what we're not talking about, right? When people talk about white privilege, they're talking about the fact that their skin color doesn't affect their experiences. So you're talking about money in two-parent households, you're saying nothing. You're off topic. You're just rambling. You're just talking about a black woman just to do it.
A lot, unfortunately, of black kids in this country and white kids too. But that, of course, sets her apart. And I think all of this just shows how shallow the identity politics really are, because to your point about how it's only appropriation when it's a white person appropriating minority culture, they would, if they were here, say, yeah, absolutely. It's actually baked into the texts about intersectionality and cultural appropriation that came out of.
What is this untalented, unseasoned Becky? What is she even talking about? What does that have to do with the reality that race still affects people, black people, on all socioeconomic statuses? A billionaire black person can still deal with racial animus, racial prejudice, racial profiling. What does that have to do with anything? But they love getting on subject. They can't even stay on subject.
Academia in the 1980s and the 1990s particularly, they say you can only commit cultural appropriation if you are from the race in power. But all of this shows, like, even as we were just talking.
Okay, girl, bye. Anyway, so we're going to move on to the next video. Because I want you guys
check
to
out
see
what happened to
how blatantly, let me just say this. Everybody always wants to tell people how to react, how to respond when they're black. Oh, don't get too aggressive. Don't get too rowdy, too loud. Because then we're going to stereotype you as a criminal, violent girl. Look at how this violent Bakisha responds to simple defense. Okay? Simple defense. I'm going to call it that. You guys can say she was smacking this girl up in her head. She didn't do nothing that anybody else in the basketball court ain't did before. That's why there wasn't a call. All right, let's get into it.
Check out what happened to Sophie Cunningham. Again, she's on the Indiana Fever, right? Is that what they're called? The Fever, along with Caitlin Clark. And the Fever had a game against the Chicago Sky on Saturday. And look what happened to Sophie Cunningham in that game.
So look at how she frames it as victimhood. We're playing basketball. All right. This is a sport where people often touch each other. It can get physical. It's not intentional a lot of the times. Defense includes physical touch. But she ran into it. She said, look at what this black girl did to Sophie Cunningham. Look, guys, look.
There's Cunningham up.
Oh my God, defense, how dare she?
The foul, and then Cunningham gets into the...
Hold on, so who's the volatile one here? Okay, because what we see here is typical defense, okay? Get that out of there, you fell. Why do they have to hold her back? Why do 3 girls have to hold her back? If she's a victim, okay? If Sophie is a victim, why does she have to be held back then? Huh? Look at what they did to her. They played defense on her. How dare they? No.
Saturday, and look what happened to Sophie Cunningham in that game.
Look what they did to my white sister.
There's Cunningham up ahead of the field, lays it in, plus the foul, and then Cunningham gets into the face of Dejanay Carrington right away in the aftermath.
Mind you, Dejanay didn't even move. You just see them having to carry away this violent little Bekisha. Look at her. As soon as she gets up, she's trying to go pounce the other girl. Look at her. So not only does she jump in her face, she tries to shove at her. Mind you, this is the video that Megyn Kelly is using to say that Sophie is the one who was assaulted. Okay, let's see this again. Typical defense. Your weak ass didn't drink enough milk, so you fell on the floor where somebody blocked your shot. And look at her. Look at her. Coach can't even calm her down. Teammates can't calm her down. 4 people need to drag her ass away because she just can't handle herself. No impulse control. No impulse control with this girl. Low IQ. Look how quickly she jumps to get angry. You guys see that? How is this the video you're using to say she was assaulted? In plain sight. Hold on. Look. You didn't drink no milk, so you get up mad. Look at her. Jumps at the girl. Shoves her. Coach got to grab her. Teammate got to grab her. You're a victim who's assaulted? Please, look at this. Somebody didn't drink milk, and they were mad. That looks like typical defense. You'll see that 100,000 times on an NBA game. Okay, now let's see what happens after the block. Look at that. Violent, aggressive Bekisha. You seen her? Swung at her, shoved at her, shoved her teammate, shoved her coach. But she's an assault victim. Oh. She's the assault victim. Let's listen to this commentary. I'm not even going to replay that again. Let's listen to this commentary.
To the face of Dejanay Carrington right away in the aftermath. And Cunningham has to be separated as both teams will head to their benches.
She has to be separated. Why? It looks like she got blocked. And then everybody was moving on. Yes, she's a loose cannon. She has no impulse control. She can't even get the ball in the hoop without crying because somebody plays defense. That girl didn't do nothing to her besides put her hand up and block the shot. That's why nothing was called. And yet that girl is clawing. Let me at her. Let me at her. But she's a victim of assault. I've never seen an assault victim swinging so much in my life. Never. Never. Let's continue. Let's hear this commentary because we know they're gonna spin it.
You'll see a Dejanay Carrington and Sophie Cunningham comes down, gets her right across the face, coming down trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's definitely going to be upgraded, I think, to a flagrant too, Ryan.
I think that is going to be a flagrant too.
Can't even control herself. No impulse control. Look at her. Chimping out on the court. How you chimping out because somebody blocked you and they hit you in your little face a little bit? Chimping out on the court. How you chimping out like that? What happened to sportsmanship? You got fouled? Calm down. You're going to go to the line. But no, she want to jump out her body, start shoving at the girl. The girl, mind you, Dejanay didn't even move an inch. She wasn't worried about old girl. But old girl wants to be throwing elbows. People got to drag her away. Look at her.
There is
Look at her.
And just getting her out of the way.
Look at her. So she got the call.
I'll be stunned if it's not upgraded to a flagrant too.
By the way, that's ESPN doing the commentary. So that's woke ESPN.
Woke ESPN saying and admitting that she was hit in the face and that's a hard hit and it's going to be upgraded. What's woke about that, Megyn? What is woke about that? These people use these little words that they know if they use these words, they're going to get the conservative morons who love to be Republican but don't realize the Republicans are selling them out. How is that woke media? They literally said she hit her, it's going to be upgraded, and then it was upgraded. What's woke about that? What's woke about that? But they can't have these conversations without using the dog whistles and the virtue signaling to get the white supremacists in the chat. That's what they need. All they have to do is say woke, feminism, and they'll get all the people they're looking for. They'll get the audience they're looking for.
Who just the other week was telling us to go and listen to what that one WNBA coach said. It was really profound to go listen to her, the one who was like advocating for trans in women's sports. That ESPN looked at that and said that's definitely going to be upgraded to a flagrant 2 penalty, which is worse than a flagrant 1. And it was. And it meant an automatic ejection for this Dejanay Carrington. For the listening audience, Dejanay Carrington is a black woman with super blonde, long hair.
What the fuck does her hair have to do with anything? You're wearing cheap weave. Look at this one is even thinner than the last one. At least the last one has some body on the side. You're wearing thin blonde weave. Nobody's talking about that. What the hell does her hair have anything to do with it? Nothing. But this is the dog whistles. This is how they got to get their little MAGA people all together. The MAGAs have to hear woke feminism. They have keywords. That's how they get launched up. That's how you power up a MAGA dummy. You say woke feminism, black people, black women, black. Just say black and you'll get some MAGA people to come throw tomatoes or donate money to the next racist that they see. Because what does her hair have anything to do with what she's doing on the court?
It's obviously a wig or a weave of some sort.
And your clip-ins are cheap.
And it's way longer
and your clip-ins are cheap. And it's way longer than the 3 strands you have on your head. We can see from the top of the bump there that you either clipped on a little toupee over there or you got some high clipped extensions. We can see that. Black women aren't the only ones who wear weave, right? We know you buy your cheap weave at Walmart, right? They sell. You guys ever see the ponytails with the white people hair on it? I don't understand this. I don't understand why we are talking about hair. Let's talk about what happened on the court. Somebody got blocked. They cried about it. The refs worked in their favor. Even though they were swinging and clawing at another player on a basketball court, they still got everything in their favor. So how is ESPN woke media? Yeah, that's really what it's. She's mad. She's really jealous that she has to put on sparse clip-in wigs and that young lady can afford the full set of clip-ins. She doesn't have to buy 2 pieces out of the whole pack. She can afford the whole thing. That's what this lady is mad about. That she only has enough for two individual clip-ins. And she got to place them correctly, or they still look sparse on her head. Let's continue.
Sophie Cunningham's. And the Sophie Cunningham, of course, is white. The only one surprised by the decision seemed to be Dejanay Carrington herself. Watch.
Defensive foul on Dejanay Carrington has been upgraded to a flagrant foul penalty 2. Since that windup is followed through, high potential for injury, players in a vulnerable position. Since the basket was successful, Sophie Cunningham will receive 2.
Mind you, the girl sucks, and she's still gonna get her free throws. But you got the outcome you're looking for. So why exactly are we calling ESPN woke media?
Free throws to make 1.
There's wind-up, there's follow-through, there's potential for injury. The player's in a vulnerable position. And so Dejanay Carrington, who had been off to an incredible start, is now ejected from the game following that hard foul on Sophie Cunningham.
By the way, I'm really curious. Why can Dejanay long blonde straight hair and it's fine?
So here's my issue again. Why are you talking about her hair? What does that have to do with what happened on the court? We can all see the cheap extensions in your hair. This is what bothers me. White women will sit up here with cheap dollar store weave and be like, oh, look at, she's trying to appropriate my hair. Nobody is trying to appropriate the 3 strands that you have on your head. If you guys learned anything about the hair industry, the majority of hair comes from Asia. And none of you raggedy, greasy hair hoes, nobody wants that hair, I promise you. Nobody. For the few people who are still buying weave, nobody wants that. You appropriate hair when you put cheap extensions in your hair. But you know, the problem with the head start that they had is that you have even black people who want to get up online and be like, well, she's not so wrong about that. That was a bitch. There wasn't no, show me a Viking with some braids, bitch. Show me a Viking with some braids before people in Africa with some braids. Please show me. I would like you to produce that, because you guys love to get on here and talk about what black people have on their hair. There's people on the continent with this hair before colonialism even started. So show me a Viking, please, because there's actual records of that. You guys just get on here and you want to make anything yours. White women have so little to appropriate from. What are we going to appropriate? Casserole? Where we get green bean casserole? That's what we appropriated. What did we appropriate? Not washing our bodies? Did we appropriate not washing our bodies? Taking a shower once a week? Did we appropriate the bubonic plague? Nobody's appropriating a goddamn thing from white women. Nothing. You have nothing of value that any black woman needs to go and appropriate. Everything that you have taken from another group. Everything. Everything. You cannot produce a historical record showing dirty white people wearing braids that are known for being part of African tribes, African people who never left the continent. You can't produce that. You can't. That's why you have to come here and lie. The only thing that you invented was the Black Plague, not washing your ass, not washing your legs, not seasoning your food. That's your history. That's your history. Talking about some Viking braids. She would date a black man if he had 100 million. She would marry him. She don't fool me. Exactly. At the end of the day, Megyn Kelly she's a hoe for some attention. She's a hoe for attention. She will go wherever they're paying her. She will go wherever they're paying her. It's not even necessarily about her having a problem with blonde weave. She got blonde weave on her own raggedy head. She has cheap extensions on her own head. It's not about that. This is about money. She needs to say what the MAGA people want to hear. She's got that long blonde weave on. How many inches are them cheap ass extensions, Megyn? How many inches are they? Is it 16, 18, 22? Tell me. Are you appropriating when you buy clip-in extensions to put in your sparse head? It really baffles me how delusional some people are when it comes to their ideas about race. They always move the history story. The story is you Christianize my ancestors to the point we don't even have last names that are not Christian. Absolutely. But they don't want to talk about that though, right? Because one individual Black woman had 2 parents in the household and was wealthy. And so her talking about privilege is null and void. That's what Megyn Kelly wants you to believe. She wants you to believe that all the history that Black people have in this country with racist white people is all our imagination. That if we have a job and a roof under our head, we should be thanking the whites. We should be thanking the whites. There's no more racism because we have food in our house, we have electricity, we have cars, we have internet. You have internet, nigga. Ain't no racism no more. That's essentially what they're saying when they say things like this. And notice how she's gonna spend another 15 minutes talking about her hair.
For the past 6 years. Google it.
Google it.
So we can't have
Google
braids, and in fact, there's a push by some in the woke
Google
left. You can't even wear like hoop earrings and do your lip liner outside of your lips as a white woman because that's.
Well, first of all, you're not supposed to. That putting the lip liner outside of your lip is literally appropriation, right? To make your lips look more fuller. You don't have full lips, so if you need to draw on another set of lips to make it look like you have luscious lips, and you literally look fucking ridiculous. Yeah, that's very different. That is absolutely appropriation. You're trying to create lips that don't exist with a pencil at that. And even then, nobody's stopping you. There's a Bakisha on every street corner who's painted on a top lip. That's the most common thing I see today now. People painting whole lips, creating whole lips. Nobody's stopping you guys from doing that. There is a Black woman, there's a Dominican who will braid up your greasy ass hair into some single braids. Nobody's stopping you from doing that. Implying that Black women are telling white women don't wear braids, I don't care what you do in your greasy head. I don't care. Just don't come near me with it. Just don't come near me. I don't care what you do with your hair. She's acting like Black women are telling her, don't do that. That's appropriate. Nobody cares. The few Black people who are telling you, even they don't care. They're just bored. They're just arguing with you online. Yeah, exactly. They love bringing up dirty ass Vikings. It never started with Vikings. It never started with Vikings. Actually, you're wrong. There actually is still a lot of people who are trying to stop Black people from doing what they want to do and reaching all the heights that they want to reach. There is. That's the difference between me and you. You have to go and search for some Vikings to talk about your experience, right? I can tell you what happened last week. Or Dijon, I'm trying to remember her name. She could tell you what happened on the court the week before that. You have to go talk about Vikings who were transient people who were spreading disease and all type of other things on top of that. So who's to say they didn't go boat by a village of beautiful Black people, saw their braids and copied it like y'all do everywhere else? Again, still can't produce any history. None whatsoever. But you guys want to say that because Black people have what they have today, which they had to fight for, right? They had to fight for equal protection under the law, and they still don't have it. They had to fight to desegregate this country. All of that. Now you want to talk about who invented what. Honey, I promise you nobody in your bloodline has invented a damn thing. Nothing. I was just on a live with a Puerto Rican guy that said he had an afro when he was young and couldn't get a job. Oh, I hear this all the time. I hear Latinos, like Latinos that be like beige with silky hair talking about, oh yeah, people were talking about this is that. I wasn't getting no callbacks when I was doing this. I wasn't getting no callbacks when I looked like this. Oh yeah, they were racially profiling me. And I'd be looking at them like, damn, they're racially profiling you? How do regular black people deal with those? How do black people who they don't have a choice to keep an afro? They don't have the choice because if they wear an afro, they won't get a job. It's not even just like it's more difficult. They won't get a job with their natural hair. Or they'll go to school one day and a sports coach will try to cut off their dreadlocks. Let's continue though, because she wants to make these arguments. None of her arguments are based in merit or anything like that. It's always racial dog whistles.
Cultural appropriation of Hispanic women. The braids are cultural appropriation of black women, but it's fine for Dejanay Carrington to wear her hair straightened, white blonde, and down to her rear end. That's fine?
Yes. Just like it's fine for you to buy cheap extensions and for anybody else who wants to wear cheap extensions. You can wear braids. Megyn, nobody's stopping you from going to get braids. If that's what you need to do, if that's how you go and get you a black man is by going and put some single braids in your hair, if that's how you find a man, do it, girl. I bet you that the person who would single braid your hair would either be black or like something else, Dominican. They'll help you put that style in your hair. It's not going to affect you in any way, shape, or form to put single braids in your hair. But guess what? There's some black women that might lose a job if they wear single braids. Yeah, it's all racial gaslighting. She doesn't deal in facts. She wants to talk about Dijon's hair. She wants to talk about that girl's hair. Oh, well, she's over there slaying on the court while I'm sitting here bald with 2 clips in my hair. It's the anger and the jealousy that they have towards black women, that they want to compare their shortcomings to the real experiences that black women go through in this system.
Like, somebody help me understand the rules, okay? Because I can't keep up. Is there no white culture to appropriate? Is that really how this works? Or are the rules on the, braids in the Caribbean now off? Can we have the lip liner with the hoop earring? Somebody, where do we go to find out? Should I talk to AOC about how woke one was insane? Are the rules done now? That's why Dejanay can do it? Oh, no, wait, she could always do it, couldn't she? Because it never worked both ways.
Oh, so Dejanay and other black women have never been disenfranchised for how their hair looks. We've never been told that our natural hair is unprofessional. The Crown Act didn't need to be created because of the prejudice that black women face at work. And these victimhood Bekishas who really want to get online and compare the fact that they couldn't achieve anything in their life to the disenfranchisement that black women go through, it's really a joke. It's a joke. Go paint your lips, ho. Go paint your lips. Go get a single braids. You can do all that. You can do all of that and it won't have any effect on your life whatsoever. Let a black woman walk outside with her regular hair and she will deal with prejudice. So you bringing up all of this, what people are telling you, what you can't do, why don't you go deal with the fact that people are still losing their jobs because of their natural hair? Why don't you go deal with that? You want to put some single braids in your hair? Go ahead. But why don't you go advocate for little black girls to be able to wear single braids at school as well? Because there's black women, there's black girls who've been expelled for their hair, who've received dress code violations because of their natural hair, because of dreadlocks, because of how their hair grew out of their head. Are you going to help those people, or do you just want to put those on so you can get some black dick? That's what I really want to know. Because they give out black dick for free. You don't need to put those braids in your hair. You don't need to. You don't need to draw an extra layer of lip above your mouth for you to get a black man. Go ahead. The problem with a lot of you guys is you want to wear the imagery of blackness. You want the braids, the makeup, the BBLs. You want to do all these things that you consider to be black. But you don't want black people to be able to be free to do everything that they want to do. You don't want it. She wants to wear single braids, but she don't want to see a bunch of black women with blonde weave. She would still have a problem with it. Even if every black woman wrote her a letter and said, we, the black delegation, allow you to wear single braids, she would still have an issue with black women wearing blonde weave. Yeah, they never do. Half of these hoes with blonde hair, they're not natural blondes. Half of these hoes are brunettes. But they be dyeing their eyebrows and their hair and all types of things to try and make themselves look even more lily white than they already look. And they can do it freely, but let a black woman express herself however she wants. And now it's an epidemic. There's violence. They're dangerous studs. Like, it's ridiculous. It's honestly pathetic, but it's even more ridiculous to hear her. And she's not saying anything at all. She's literally just dog whistling and trying to make the MAGA people happy about attacking black women in their hair. The WNBA has been getting a lot of heat. We know that. Angel Reese has been getting a lot of heat with the comparisons. People try to compare her to George Jefferson, aka Caitlin Clark. She's just joining on that bandwagon because it pays.
Moments after she was ejected, the shocked Dejanay Carrington posted on her Threads account, which tells you something. Threads. That's the social media company started by Mark Zuckerberg to compete with X when people went into a meltdown after Elon bought Twitter. So she has a Threads account. She posted on it in all caps after she'd been ejected, quote, "White privilege," in all caps. White. It was Sophie Cunningham's white privilege that you're not allowed to hurt her, I guess. You can't hurt the whites in the league. I mean, again, tell it to Caitlin Clark. I think you can hurt the whites. I think actually hurting the whites is totally fine in the WNBA.
Hurting the whites. I never knew she was going to get so inflammatory. Hurting the whites is okay in the WNBA.
Encouraged. It's applauded. It actually will make you somewhat of a heroine over on whatever weird Threads board these ladies are attending. She hasn't elaborated on what she meant. I think we can figure it out. I think we know. You would expect everyone on Sophie Cunningham's team to be rushing to her side, to have her back. It was obvious. I know absolutely nothing about sports, but I can see what happened to Sophie. And I go to Jason Whitlock when I'm in doubt because he knows everything about.
Most of the people in this country who have blonde hair and blue eyes are not from Finland. Okay? They're not from Finland. Okay? They're not. Right? There's a reason why Aryan became a popular thing, because it was few and far between. It was not common to be blonde hair and blue eyes just because you were white. There was way more brunettes. You're talking about a nation that most of the dirty white people who invoke blonde hair, blue eyes, they don't live there. They don't live there. You keep telling me to study history, but you don't know a damn thing. You don't know a damn thing. You're not even saying anything. You literally tried to tell me that braids came from dirty ass Vikings. Yes. You don't know anything.
Sports, and he's totally fair. He's not some disgusting hack. And he was horrified by what this Fever coach Stephanie White, who's been an ongoing problem, had to say after this happened to one of her own star players, to where, again, it was so egregious that the refs thought it was a flagrant 2, and the ESPN commentators saw it was a flagrant 2. And yet, listen to what Sophie Cunningham's own coach, Stephanie White, said after the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a hard foul. I don't think that DeJounte intentionally came out to get her across the net like she did, but it did happen, and I thought it was the right call. But, you know, one of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup, and so.
Right. So what that means is that people are used to the courts being tough, right? You don't just walk up and do a layup. This victimhood, Megyn, she literally admitted that she knows nothing about sports. Yeah, you're trying to act like some dumb Bekisha was assaulted because somebody played defense against her. It's not assault. It's not assault. And this is a coach. This is somebody who knows sports.
I don't oppose the hard foul, but I also don't think that she intentionally went for the net.
For the first time since World War II, our national debt has exceeded.
Look at this moron. More commercials because she don't have anything to say in her own head. She needs the extra, she needs all that extra ad revenue because nothing she's saying is really valuable and gonna get people to support her. Nothing.
401k into a tax-sheltered IRA of 898 happens to you when you join a women's sports league like this. Do you turn into a man? Are you intentionally trying to talk like a man? You know, like, I'm a tough guy now.
Yeah, that's another dog whistle. Okay. Are you trying to talk like a man? Are you stupid? Are you dumb? Didn't you just see that other girl jumping out of her body, clawing, yelling like a freaking fool? And you didn't call her masculine for her aggressive nature and her aggressive response. Right? But DeJounte is aggressive for how everyone plays basketball.
She's talking like, I don't think, you know, Nay, she's never going to let somebody just come in and score the layup. Like, is this how you have to talk now? You can't just talk like a normal person.
No, she's talking like somebody who knows how to play basketball, who understands the sport, who has experience in the field, not just some dog whistling, MAGA dick sucking hoe. That's the difference between you and that coach. That coach is there because somebody cares what she's saying. You're just talking on the internet. You're just talking on the internet. You're just trying to get crackers to approve of you and send you their money because all they need you to do is hate some black people and you're going to get money. The audacity to not even be sports affiliated and be talking about actual coaches and say, are you switching up who you are? No, that's who she is. She watches these black women play basketball, pay her salary, bring a profitable sport to a court. That's what she's talking about. You're talking about your own prejudice and racial bias. That's the difference between you and her. She's calling her Nay because she knows the girl, because she's played sports with her. She knows that her energy is based off of athleticism. Elite athleticism, something you would know nothing about. That's why you have to bump your gums with 2 pieces of clip-in extensions in your hair about black people to get some money. It's crazy to me how these people speak like they're authority and they don't have any authority whatsoever. She's not even athletic. She knows nothing about sports. She's already admitted that herself. Yet she's going to criticize a woman's basketball coach.
You have to pretend you're a dude? Is that what's cool?
Just a moron. And mind you, this is the same woman who was crying about how she was picked on and sexually harassed at Fox News. Honey, you are a moron. Maybe that's why that happened to you. Who picked on you? If you could pick on other people like this, was somebody really picking on you? Or were you just mad you didn't get your way?
All of them sound like that. Virtually everybody in this WNBA league, when you hear them speak, you're like, what is that? Do you give up all femininity? Like, just because you're a lesbian basketball player doesn't mean you have to give up all femininity. Doesn't mean you have to start talking like a dude. You have to lose all of the G's off.
Mind you, the woman who achieved triple-double status, Aja Wilson, I believe that's her last name. Elite, never a scandal. So everyone in the WNBA, you're classifying them as black violent studs who are going to corrupt your WNBA daughters. This lady's pathetic. This is what a snake oil salesman does. She'll say whatever the audience needs to hear. She doesn't have anything of value. She doesn't have any integrity whatsoever. She'll say whatever needs to be said to get that cash in her pocket. That's why she sounds so moronic, criticizing a woman's basketball coach and how she speaks about her players, criticizing that woman as if she has more expertise, and she doesn't. She admitted that she doesn't know a damn thing about basketball.
Of your words, to be honest, it makes you sound stupid, Stephanie. Honestly.
Like, imagine, you see the projecting. Imagine to project, it makes you sound stupid, Stephanie. So Stephanie, who actually has experience playing with athletes, who knows what they're like, who knows what basketball is like, you're claiming that she's just some lesbian-hating, woman-hating, man masculine because of how she speaks. This lady's a cornball. This lady's a cornball. Look at how she's literally talking like somebody who doesn't know anything about what she's talking about, projecting like a motherfucker.
I have nothing but disdain for this league. I've got to be clear. It's so.
We can tell. We can tell because you have several videos talking about a league that has 70%, 70+% black women. We know why you have disdain. It has nothing to do with the women playing in the league or how they speak or if they're all studs. None of that. It's about you hating a field that employs 70% black women. Hating that your mediocrity doesn't shine on a court where there are young, beautiful black women, whether they have weave in their hair or not. She definitely told herself this in the mirror. You know she wanted to say this, so they gave her a camera. The camera is her mirror. Yeah, I mean, she's just spewing her hatred. She's a loser, a moron, pathetic. You're 50 plus. This is how you're talking about young women in the NBA. It's ridiculous. There are several WNBA players who are married. But these type of women will get on here because they're trying to appease and suck Maga nuts. They'll get on here and start saying some inflammatory shit about black women, about the WNBA, about athletes, because that's what she needs to do. That's how she makes her money. When you're talking to ignorant people, you don't have to deal in facts.
Over them, I wouldn't be caught dead going to one of these games. I wouldn't. I don't support them. I don't believe in what they do. I don't believe in their politics. I don't believe in their values at all. At all. Who is there to root for other than Sophie? Tell me. I'll root for Sophie by liking her tweets. That's enough.
So the only person that she wants, the only athlete, the only WNBA player that she wants you to support is the white woman, Sophie. Someone who doesn't even play good, literally not even talented. Forget all the black women who've been carrying the WNBA. Support a mediocre white woman who just jumped in the field now, barely good, has really no track record, just jumps around claiming that she doesn't have white privilege because somebody gave her tough defense on the court. But this is someone self-proclaimed that doesn't know a damn thing about sports, has never supported sports in the first place. Never. But now she's going to tell you who you should support. You should only support the white female players. That's what she's saying. Forget all the black women. They're all stud, lesbian, violent, aggressive, dangerous black women. How is this any different than racial propaganda that used to be around? People have just changed their tricks. It's not nothing different. They've just evolved with their tactics. We're not going to outright call them ghetto welfare queens. Oh no, now we're just going to imply that they're all violent, aggressive, lesbian studs, and that we shouldn't support a league that employs 70% black women. That's what she wants. She wants you to only support black WNBA players, or white WNBA players. She doesn't want you to support the black ones. She said the only one you should support is the one white one who's not even good.
I want nothing to do with this league. Okay, and then yesterday, on WNBA Countdown, a show with which I've only become familiar upon saying its name right here, but it's apparently a show. People, I guess, watch this. Who watches this? It's probably like they're the parents of the women who are in this league. In any event, it's a show on ESPN, and one of the hosts is named Andrea Carter, and you'll be shocked to learn that she actually did come to Dejanay Carrington's defense.
These are plays we've seen from Dejanay, right? So getting in the right position, jumping over the top, getting these transition blocks. She's always going to make that effort. So even for some of these, she's behind the offensive player coming over the top. So again, she was behind Sophie Cunningham. She wasn't able to get over the top. Had she got over the top and made that play, we wouldn't have been talking about it. She was too far behind the play. The contact above the head was too much. But that's what Dejanay Carrington does.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
Right. So anybody else who actually knows sports, who actually watches sports, is able to see that this is healthy competition, right? This is somebody doing what people do on the court. But Megyn Kelly wants you to believe that some athletic black woman is predating on a mediocre white woman who barely can play basketball. She wants you to believe that this woman was predating on her because she has skill and intellect and basketball IQ.
This wasn't to me. This wasn't because it was Sophie Cunningham making the layup.
Okay. The requirements to get a flagrant.
Okay. Anyways, bitch, you're not gonna sit here and talk about a sport that you know nothing about. Nothing. She knows not. She's so ignorant. I mean, I've never seen somebody so dumb talk about something. Like, just ignorant. She has no clue what she's even talking about. And then she even attacks, and this is why I told people, they will attack other white women. She doesn't care about what this woman might have, what her history might be in the league, what her history might be with the sports, what her knowledge is of the game. They will hate other white women if white women don't get on code. Oh, you want to be a man? Oh, you want to be a man? Oh, I'm going to drag you just like I'll drag those black women. That's exactly what she does in these videos. I'm actually tired of hearing her on this particular subject, so I'm not going to play this one. But I'm going to play Jason Whitlock's video, because Jason Whitlock is a typical panderer, pandering to the white society, trying to get some coins from white folks, so saying what he wants them to hear, or what they want him to say. What they want to hear from him. Okay, that's what he's doing here. But let's hear his take on it, because for some reason he compares a grown adult woman to some baby girl that LeBron had less than 15 years ago.
Dejanay Carrington and Sophie Cunningham should be basketball besties. The Venus and Serena Williams of the WNBA. Two knockouts with deadly jump shots. Instead, they're Cain and Abel. It makes no sense. Look at where they started.
Again, the attempt at trying to compare somebody with clearly experience, skill, athleticism, basketball IQ to some random white, comparing them like as if they're neck and neck with talent. Obviously, they're not. This struggle-faced girl is not on Dejanay's level at all. At all. But he wanted them to be besties.
Dejanay Carrington, Stanford, 2019. Her Stanford bio video.
So in 2019, when she was in Stanford, she was probably 21 max. It's been 7 years. You're comparing this woman's looks from when she was 7 years ago to try to discredit who she is now. This is why I say, like, bandits have to get dragged because what they do is so detrimental to the community. The coon and Sambo behavior from them is so detrimental to black people. It's insane.
Video shows a young woman who is, without exaggeration, a father's dream.
My mom and dad met at Northern Arizona University in college, and my dad played football, and my mom ran track, and so they were both on collegiate scholarships. And then my dad went on to play in the NFL for 8 seasons, and my sister played basketball in college, and she played at the University of New Orleans. My brother played at the University of Oregon and University of Utah. And when I was in high school, my mom was actually my head coach. My dad was her associate head coach, and my sister was one of the assistant coaches. It was a really fun dynamic and a really cool experience just to have my family surrounding me. When I was in, I want to say 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, I played football. I just wanted to be like my brother and sister. And so they were like, "Are you sure you want to play football?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, okay, like, give it a try. And so the first year I had to play flag just to make sure I really wanted to do this. And then my next 2 years, I played tackle. It doesn't matter what other people think. If it's something that I want to do, then I can do it. And a lot of people probably.
So I don't even understand what he's trying to say. So let's go look at an 9-year-old video of a woman when she was in college and compare her in her career as an adult. What's the point of this? This woman probably has more class in her pinky toe than him and Megyn Kelly put together. What's the point of this? I don't get it.
Yes, football is not a girl sport, but they allowed me to do that and to explore whatever I wanted to explore. And I think that now on the court and in life, I'm going to be able to take those tools and just explore with no limit.
Her dad, Darren Carrington, played 8 years in the NFL and is a minister in San Diego. Her mom and dad met playing college sports at Northern Arizona. Her whole family, mom, dad, and sister, coached Dejanay growing up. Dejanay played tackle football as a little girl, and her parents encouraged it.
You know what bothers me about these types of Sambo, dirty coon bandits like himself? Is that they really imply like that these people are doing something wrong for being who they are. Like, I'm sorry that you live your life based off of how white people tell you how to perform in your life, but what the hell are you invoking this woman's childhood, talking about her family and her parents like they're disappointed in her? For what? A old ass, dirty ass bandit. For what?
She wants to be a forensic psychologist. She talks about faith, family, being a role model for young girls. That's the young woman Stanford put on film. Amazing. Let's go to Sophie Cunningham's story. And it reads almost identically. Her mom and dad, Jim and Paula Cunningham, were both athletes at Missouri. Her grandfather played there. Her aunt and uncle played there. Sophie kicked on her high school football team. Her sister played basketball with her at Mizzou. Two-parent, multi-generation athletic family, same as Carrington. Both strikingly attractive coming out of high school and college. Both call themselves Christians. Same blood, same house, same ground. Cain and Abel started there too. But Stanford, in a transfer year at Baylor, put something else into Dejanay Carrington besides discipline. That campus, Stanford, is one of the most far-left institutions in this country.
Look at this. And you know, this will really be the downfall of a lot of black people, right? Is this Christian worship, this wanting to degrade other black people, you know, in order to get into the good graces of a literally stupid, dumb, morally bankrupt people. You're talking about a fictional book comparing two players on completely different skill levels. I mean, he's talking about church. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Another dog whistle. Because just like that sparse hair bandita, Megyn Kelly, He wants the coin too. He wants the dumb MAGA coin. MAGA pays the best. MAGA don't even have money to buy a can of pork and beans, but they're the first ones to get up online and watch and support and send money to anybody with a racial epithet. Anybody. It's truly pathetic.
And she spent 4 years marinating in it before the WNBA ever got its hands on her. The league didn't create the ideology. Stanford planted the seed. The league just watered it down and put it on national television. I covered Missouri's athletic programs for nearly 2 decades at the Kansas City Star. Mizzou is liberal, like every college campus on this country. But you can still be a conservative there. It doesn't demand conformity the way Stanford does. That's not a small difference. That's the difference standing in front of you right now. Now, let's go look at DeJounte Carrington in the WNBA. Different person. Not just physically, but spiritually as well. The joy is gone.
Oh, shut the hell up. What is your so based off of your obese nature, the gout that we see in your neck, what does that say about your spirit? Like the way that some of these black men are willing to degrade women for some coin, this is embarrassing. You're a fat, overweight loser. And you're saying she doesn't have light in her eyes? Look at you. Where's your neck? Let's see your midsection. Anybody with a big midsection has visceral fat. Visceral fat almost triples your ability of getting hypertension, diabetes, high blood pressure. Can you have a clean spirit if you're big and fat and you have diabetes and gout in your neck? The audacity to look at this girl and try to demonize her. To try and demonize her and say she has no light in her eyes. How can a demon see light? He lost to the spirit of gluttony, but he wants to talk about what he sees in this lady's spirit. You done ate up everything you've seen in the last decade. Gluttony is bad. Overeating is bad. So are you living in sin? When your neck first disappeared, was that you falling into sin? It really gets me how these old, used up, nothing ass, useless, conquered bucks, right? Shout out to Cynthia G for these conquered bucks to get up here and talk about what somebody's spirit has. Your spirit led you to eat up everything in your refrigerator. Your spirit led you to eat yourself into an early grave. I don't understand where the judgment comes for black young women. When you are big, useless, you've done nothing for the community. You've done nothing for even the people in your local area. I don't care if you mentor some boys. We don't know what kind of relationship you have with those boys. We're talking about somebody who all they do is get up and fix their lips to speak down on black people, but you're going to talk about somebody's spirit. An old, useless, fat, obese black man talking about a young woman, talking about who has light in them. Empress said, I rebuke you in the name of Empress Kia. Exactly. And we know that's how they play with these books. That's why most of us don't go around here repeating what is in these books like these morons like Jason Whitlock, because we know these books change whenever white people want to change their perspective. Whenever they want to change their ideas about society, oh yes, they will change any scripture, any historical record. They will erase historical records. They'll destroy historical records, whatever they need to do for people to not see the truth. Some fat, lowly bastard like this talking about a young woman. If I was her dad, I would smack the taste out of this loser. Why are you talking about somebody else's daughter's spirit? You don't know anything about her. And you never will. Somebody like yourself would never get anywhere near someone like her. But you're fixing your lips right now right next to a white woman and speak down on people in your own community. It's ridiculous. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you eat. Next time you cook that chicken, make sure it's not raw. Next time you take a shower, make sure you really scrub every part of your body. If you scrub your body and your washcloth comes back black, that means you have not been bathing well. Focus on that. Tell me, be careful what you say. You're not going to stop me from saying shit. Like, some of these people just come in here just to whine and cry and lie. They don't have anything to say.
The gratitude is gone. What's left is grievance, anger, looking for a microphone. Compare her Stanford face to her WNBA presentation, and you see a woman who's buried the person she used to be.
And where is the person that you used to be before you were 70 pounds overweight? Before all your side teeth fell out? Let's see where that person is. What happened to him? What happened to the version of you that didn't have visceral fat surrounding every major organ in his body? You're comparing the looks of somebody almost 10 years apart. It makes no sense. They make no sense. And yes, they do not use washcloths. That's why their bodies still be dirty and funky, even after they get in that shower and splash some water on themselves. When they get out, they're still mucking between their butt cheeks. Toes still got cheese in between them. Yeah, we know. They don't use washcloths. But they get on here trying to tell people how to live, telling people what they can do with their hair. And they go and they find a coon to help them do it. They know where to find the nearest coon, trust. Let's finish up because this band is really getting on my nerves.
Under layers of makeup, weaves, fake eyelashes, hair dye, reinventing the outside because something happened to the inside. Sophie Cunningham plays like she still loves the game that raised her. Dejanay Carrington is angry. Same starting line, same family structure, same faith on paper.
Mind you, for all we know, this unfortunate looking Bekisha here be throwing her ass in a circle, selling coochie on the weekends because her career clearly ain't cutting it. For all we know, but this man is willing to get up here and play white angel, black devil. White angel, black devil. It's insane. And now calling other people hateful. You've been in here trying to act like black people appropriated everything that they do from you guys. You literally tried to say braids. You tried to say that we everything that we do comes from you guys. But we're the hating ones, right? The things that we invent, that we come up with, you will never acknowledge who they actually come up from. But we're the hateful ones. Yeah, I remember. Monitoring spirit of jealousy is another thing that comes with Christianity. I'm telling you, Christianity is wicked. Absolutely. Any religion that white people are banging, that they're going from house to house trying to sell to people, you can't trust that anyways. You can't trust that anyways. You couldn't pay me to trust anything that half of these Christians say. They will be Christians and at the end of the day be doing some raggedy stuff. Thank you, Victorious One. I mean, this topic really annoyed me because I was seeing other people cover different things. And I started to notice a pattern of like how these pundits are really taking a paycheck to get up here and spread racial propaganda. And I bet you in 40 years, when all the dust is settling based off whatever happens in the next 10 years, these people are not going to be able to acknowledge the things that they said and did in this time. You think of Megyn Kelly, if she even survives that long, is going to acknowledge the fact that she said inflammatory things on her channel? Never. They're going to act like this is a post-racial society and that black women can do whatever they want and nobody's going to try and harass them and speak down to them. That's what they're going to do. They're going to play dumb. Or they're going to cry to their fake ass sky daddy that's going to leave them in that little dirty ass trailer park that they've been living in their whole lives. They always are telling people, they're always talking about God and prayer, but they're never praying. They're always in here trying to talk to us and change our mind. Go pray. I agree with Cosmic Black Entity. Go play. Go pray. Pray to your God. Tell your God to fix us then. If your God is all knowing and there's something wrong with us and black people and blah, 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 go figure it out. Pray to your God and ask him to fix us. Let's see what he does. All right. Let me get back to my video. I don't want to hear any more of this fat raggedy bandit. So let's get into something a little bit different. I want to hear, I want to talk about Megyn Kelly and Carmelo Anthony. And this will be the last topic because it is getting late. I got work in the morning. But this will be the last topic today. And I want to talk about how Megyn Kelly has been talking about the Carmelo Anthony case, how she purposefully ignores her and Law and Crime. I don't watch Law and Crime that much anymore because I really don't like the dishonesty that comes from white media. But I noticed that the same way she deals with the WNBA, it's the same way that she's been dealing with the Carmelo Anthony case, right? She throws on a sparse clip-in weave and gets to talking. And that's exactly what she did with the Carmelo Anthony case. And I'm just going to cover this video, and then I'm going to show you guys the actual facts of the case, because I don't want to do just a video where we're just reviewing the stupid words of people. We all know these people are ignorant, dumb, stupid, no brains, funky, dirty, ugly, dishonest, disingenuous. We know all that. Right, but I want to make sure that I show you guys what these people are saying and the reality. Now, a lot has happened with the Carmelo Anthony case over the last couple of weeks. I'm not going to say that I 100% am going to sit here and be like, oh, you know what? He's an innocent young king who deserves to be put on a pedestal. No, he's a regular individual who may have had a messy past, but it doesn't change that he was defending himself. And if white people really wanted us to stop talking about race like they claim that we're the ones doing, they would just hold themselves with integrity, but they can't even do that. They can't even do that. So let's start with this video here. Let's get into it.
Daily Mail's Marianne Martinez reporting, because they're in court this morning on Carmelo Anthony on the defense motion to get him a new trial, saying that there had been a gentleman's agreement that we weren't going to do character evidence at this trial, and the prosecution somehow violated that by making some passing reference to like what Austin Metcalf liked to do or what Carmelo Anthony liked to do for fun. It's such a Hail Mary by the defense. But something big happened in court this morning when the prosecutor got up and did not deny that there was a gentleman's agreement to not go to the character place on either the accused, Carmelo Anthony, who stabbed and killed Austin Metcalf at a track meet for absolutely nothing. Austin told him he had to leave Austin's team's tent, and Carmelo.
Austin told him that he had to leave his team's tent. All right. So unfortunately, I have I'm tired of listening to her stupid ass. So we're just going to get right into the facts. And I want to get into the facts because I know how much that really upsets white people when we talk about the reality of the case versus allow them to gaslight and try to get us to change the subject or address them or address something that we're not even talking about, okay? So we're just going to get right into the facts here, all right? So in the case of Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, yes, there was a gentleman agreement. There was a gentleman agreement because one side actually believed that the information might have been more damaging to his client. Shut the hell up. I'm about to block you. Stop asking me stupid ass questions, USA Colt or whatever the hell. Shut the hell up. Every time it's time to talk about the facts, now you guys want to change the subject. Shut up. They always get mad when it's time to talk about. They want to talk about everything but that. Like, shut up and stop trying to change the subject. We're gonna talk about this. You want to watch that video? Go watch that video by yourself, funky asshole. Please block her because she's getting on my damn nerves now. Just sitting here whining, crying, complaining. She don't want to see the facts. New details and troubling backgrounds for Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony revealed in retrial hearing. The gloves have come off in the ongoing courtroom drama involving convicted Red Rummer Karmelo Anthony. Convicted, okay? That's what he's been charged with. Doesn't necessarily mean that that is the end result. Okay? Both prosecutors and defense attorneys are using a motion for a new trial hearing to expose the violent backgrounds of both Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. There was a private off-record agreement to keep the sordid backgrounds of both Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf from the jury and the public so that the murder trial would focus solely on what happened under the tent at Frisco High School track meet. And this is where a lot of people said that his lawyer was not doing what was in his best interest. A gentleman's agreement is not a good idea when one person's violent background heavily outweighs the other. Look at her talking about why? Because you're annoying. I don't want to hear you talk. Try to change the subject. You got to go. You can watch from the clouds, but I'm done. Obviously, you know nothing about the appeals process. There's several courts that you can appeal to, but you obviously don't know anything at all. So I'm not even going to hold you for being dumb. All right, let's get back to the article. Karmelo Anthony. Now both sides are releasing those background reports, with the defense going first by going over 20 pages of Austin Metcalf's behavioral history. Behavioral, not things that he said, not things that are alleged, not hearsay. Behavioral history. Karmelo Anthony was dressed in a suit and tie for Thursday's hearing, which began with defense arguing the efforts by trial judge and prosecutors to combat threats and address disruptions actually prevented Karmelo Anthony from receiving an open and fair trial. But bombshell testimony came from Karmelo Anthony's trial attorney, Mike Howard, about Austin Metcalf's background report that was never presented to the jury. I know y'all hate this, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. People keep trying to say, oh, because he's dead, we can't talk about it. Oh, we're going to talk about it. Oh, we're definitely going to talk about it. All right, let's get into it. CBS News Texas has also learned details about Austin Metcalf's background from court documents. Let's start with the graffiti incident and racial slurs. Austin Metcalf and his brother Hunter Metcalf were once caught spraying graffiti, including KKK, Kill All Blacks, and Hail Hitler, along with the N-word, and were sentenced to 12 months of juvenile probation. Okay, so they already had criminal records before they were even adults. The meth caps, that's right. The meth caps. Okay, that's just the beginning. Records reveal they reportedly told authorities, we did some dumb stuff and we did some vandalism. There are several documented instances of Austin Metcalf using racial slurs in school. And in 2023, Austin Metcalf was accused of bullying a black student in class. Bullying and assault allegations. All right, so now we're going back to 2022. This young man passed away in 2025. So in 2018, this is a 17-year-old. 2025 minus 18, that's 7 years prior. According to court documents, while still in elementary school, I was reading Junie B. Jones. Captain Underpants. But Austin Metcalf and his brother were accused of bullying and assaulting a female, which led to Austin Metcalf's arrest. During an argument in 2024 with another female student, Austin Metcalf allegedly knocked her to the ground and punched her in the stomach, reports state. And he was also kicked out of a football game and later texted someone, I was about to beat the expletive out of those kids. All right, so he has a history going back at least to middle school where that's when he first received his first criminal charges. This is the person we're supposed to believe that was going to have a fair fight with this kid. Oh, yeah. You could be talking about economy and gas prices, and somehow Trump supporters are going to bring up trans and gay people. Trans, gay people, black people. They only have 4 or 5 things that they can pull from. At a previous track meet, when another student alerted Austin Metcalf that someone not on their team behind our bench was talking wild, Austin reportedly replied, "Kill that MF." Okay, so they have a history of approaching people during during track meets. People who are just there, who are just enjoying themselves. Maybe they know somebody else on the team. They have a history, so much so that these little pathetic crackers go call them when they want to bully somebody. During the 2023-2024 school year, he was 16 or 15 years old. He received in-school suspension twice. School disciplinary records from 2022 April to May 2024 revealed that he reportedly called the teacher the B word or used profanity, and that he told a school official that he couldn't control it and wasn't aware that it was coming out of his mouth. So this boy had no impulse control. He was on literally a school to prison pipeline. He couldn't even act right in school. He already got legal charges from school. He was probably going to go on to get adult legal charges. He's already showing signs of violence against women. This is who we're supposed to sit here and act like somebody angel was killed. In 2024, at least 5 occasions, records show, Austin Metcalf saw a counselor regarding his anger and rage during a football game. In 2021, he was banned from attending basketball games for a season after yelling profanity at a player. I mean, they're jumping all over the place because there's so much about this young YN. This is a young YN right here. While y'all love to call these black boys YN, this is a YN. Yes, this is very relevant. He was known as being the one that other kids would go get to bully kids from other schools. They would go and call this big raggedy bandit to do their bidding. That tells you something about who he was. Court documents state that Austin Metcalf was also suspended after he and another student were talking about bringing a gun to school the following day. We might have gotten rid of a future school shooter. Let's be real. Let's be real. Right? And just like I can talk about Austin, let's talk about Karmelo. Okay, let's get into that. Prosecutors revealed details from Karmelo Anthony character dossier, but the never before released details of Carmelo's teenage years in Louisiana up to the day of his arrest for murder are also disturbing. On the day that Karmelo would fatally poke Austin Metcalf, prosecutors say he sent a text message at 1 a.m. which said, "I'm low-key on the verge," and then emphasized it. What does that mean? I'm on the verge. Later in the morning on April 2nd, 2025, and hours before Karmelo would delete Metcalf with a poking stick at a high school track meet, prosecutors said Karmelo Anthony's girlfriend reported to a Centennial High School staff member that Karmelo Anthony was engaging in stalking behavior to include but not limited to driving by her home and refusing to allow her to end their relationship. Sounds like a regular teenage crash out. Not normal at all, right? We have to deprogram boys from not being able to deal with breakups. But what if this is showing a violent pattern of behavior? That's what I want to know. Also, in a 75-page filing, prosecutors say Karmelo Anthony had previously been accused of stealing his girlfriend's phone, and on October 24 wrote a to-do list for his girlfriend about how to deal with, quote, weirdos, which includes the line, "Say some slick like my BF, delete people." So what does that have to do with anything that happened underneath that tent? Text messages about fighting and threats. Again, we're not talking about a behavioral history here. We're just talking about words. Okay? There are also text messages where he admits on at least 2 occasions to punching girls in the face. You guys really think that if this black boy punched girls in the face, there would be no record of it? Just like when boys say, "Oh yeah, I smashed 100 girls." Prosecutors also found text messages from 2021 between Karmelo Anthony and another student about robbing someone for $300. No comment. No comment. I'm not going to defend that, but I don't have no comments. I don't have no comments. Let's continue. There are other text messages where Karmelo Anthony talks about a fight and punching someone so hard he has to stop fighting. Again, this is a teenager bragging. There's no charges. There's no evidence that I'm seeing yet. In 2023, prosecutors say Karmelo Anthony told a friend he was going to vandalize someone's house in Austin, Texas, saying, "I just feel like I got a grudge." So he's upset about whatever happened with somebody, and he said he want to go vandalize somebody's house. He didn't do it. The Metcalfs were dumb enough to go spread and write their hatred on a wall. He didn't do it. In 2021, Carmelo Anthony told a friend he had been suspended from school for 3 days for fighting, saying, "They said next time I do something, I got recommended for expulsion." Court documents show. Again, we're reading text conversations. In a text conversation with a friend in 2023, prosecutors have messages from Carmelo in which he wrote, "I'm gonna shoot the school up tomorrow with my blick," but later sent messages say, "I would never actually do that." In a 2024 text thread, prosecutors say Carmelo Anthony admitted to carrying a firearm, telling a friend before the party that he would have the gun in my pocket. Where's the gun? Where's the gun? This is words. We're not showing a behavioral pattern here. We're talking about words. According to the documents, there are other message threads in which Anthony also mentions carrying a gun. Did they find a gun? Teen years in Louisiana. Now, before I continue with this part here, what I'm going to tell you guys, if you guys want to judge Carmelo Anthony about his history in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I implore you to go put your kids in school in Baton Rouge. Exactly. This is exactly why they had that gentleman's agreement, because the worm food little boy, he's the one with the violent history. Carmelo just said stupid things, right? That's without counting what we're about to read about his time in Louisiana. Okay, very different environment. After numerous suspensions for fighting while attending school in Louisiana, there are messages between Carmelo and his girlfriend after he moved to Frisco, court documents show. In one message thread, she suggests he should just sit for a while, and he replied, "Yeah, maybe punch people, maybe run sometimes. I have to. It's like a priority for me. I like punching people. When I get mad, I see red. When I get mad, I black out. When I get mad, I can't control myself." We're talking about words. Prosecutors also produced messages where Carmelo Anthony admitted to getting high and drinking alcohol. Okay, so kids don't do drugs. Bet. Texts about guns and racial slurs found in 2020. Yeah. Notice I'm not making no excuses. We're watching both sides. Okay? No excuses here. In 2024, prosecutors say Carmelo Anthony attempted to assault a teacher, saying, "I put my hands in face and everything." What does that mean? What does that mean? It also in 2024, messages obtained by prosecutors suggest Carmelo Anthony tried to bring a weapon into the state fair of Texas, asking a friend if the state fair got metal detectors. When he was told yes, he responded, "You got the poker? Yeah, I might have to toss it," replied Carmelo Anthony. We're talking about hearsay. He could have been saying that to sound tough. He could have been saying that to prove he was a big guy. Prosecutors said Carmelo Anthony admitted to stealing a watch and earbuds in separate burglaries in Collin County, and also to bring a weapon onto a Frisco school campus. And said about his girlfriend, "She went in my bag to get my computer, and I said no, and she still went in and grabbed it, and my gun and knife and some other stuff fell out." There are numerous unreleased photos and videos of Carmelo Anthony holding firearms and making threats. Authorities found a note on Carmelo Anthony's phone with a long list of disturbing racial tropes and slurs about blacks, whites, and humanity. In one message thread, Carmelo Anthony wrote, "I hate gay people." Okay, so we're talking about words. Where is his history of violent behavior? I'm still waiting for it. He said stupid things, threatened a girl, then killed someone. One side stabbed someone, person got stabbed, enjoyed Carmelo in prison. I don't know what you're talking about. He already had a criminal history, actually, right? Austin had pushed and beat on a girl when he was in elementary school. So much so he received criminal charges. I don't understand how you're trying to equate things that this young boy said when he was a teenager to the actions of another's kid over time. Yeah, he should not be doing more than 5 because this is clearly a case of manslaughter. All majority of the other kids in the state who have done similar things to Carmelo have manslaughter, criminally negligent homicide. They don't have the same charges that he got. You know, but they want us to believe that this is justice, even though it ignores all the facts of the case. Let's continue, though. Prosecutors say Carmelo threatened to murder his girlfriend in text message, some of them saying, "How many bullets you want coming out of your chest?" Or I'm going to get you. That's not cool at all. That's not cool. See, he needed therapy. They also said that he threatened her with a knife in one message and told her another, when I stab somebody, I'm going to lick their blood off the braid. I'm not excusing that. That's a disturbing thing to say, but that says more about his mental health because he didn't go and act on it. Prosecutors and defense attorneys got these character reports from a combination of police reports, school records, and cell phone extractions. Notice how the majority of Karmelo's evidence about his character were text messages. Yes, they have fight records from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but I, again, implore you, if you have children and you think that Baton Rouge, Louisiana is easy for anybody, much less a skinny boy, I want you guys to go put your kids in schools in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's that moral supremacy now. They don't know what manslaughter is. Yeah, absolutely. They're going to act like they don't know what manslaughter is. They don't know that just because someone dies, it doesn't mean that a murder happened. They're going to play stupid. That's what they do. They do it well. They do it well enough to fool the masses of other ignorant people. The hearing is expected to end on Friday, blah, blah, blah. We all know what happened. Prosecutors say that they got everything from a combination, but notice how the majority of Austin Metcalf's information was coming from police reports, school records, cell phone. They had everything. Karmelo's was exclusively text messages, majority hearsay. I saw one troubled background, and I saw another person that was likely mentally disturbed. Those are the facts of the case. This is not my opinion being painted by something that I feel about a certain racial group. This is what they actually found online. That's all we can do to combat this type of media, because I don't even have it in me to get online and listen to these stupid people and spend all the time trolling them because they're so disingenuous. These conversations where people like Megyn Kelly will frame things completely differently and act like, oh, you know, Austin was such an innocent young boy. Let's actually go back to her video about the text messages real quick. Let's go back to her
Daily
video.
Mail's Marianne Martinez reporting, because they're in court this morning on Karmelo Anthony on the defense motion to get him a
Sorry, guys. Let's hear
Daily
her.
Mail's Marianne Martinez reporting, because they're in court this morning on Karmelo Anthony on the defense motion to get him a new trial, saying that there had been a gentleman's agreement that we weren't going to do character evidence at this trial, and the prosecution somehow violated that by making some passing reference to like what Austin Metcalf liked to do or what Karmelo Anthony liked to do for fun. It's such a Hail Mary by the defense. But something big happened in court this morning when the prosecutor got up and did not deny that there was a gentleman's agreement to not go to the character place on either the accused, Karmelo Anthony, who stabbed and killed Austin Metcalf at a track meet for absolutely nothing. Austin told him he had to leave Austin's team's tent, and Karmelo Anthony instantly stabbed him.
So what's the likelihood that someone with a violent, racially charged history is going to ask anybody to politely leave anyway?
Or Austin Metcalf. They both sides agreed we're not going to do character evidence on either the defendant or the decedent. And the prosecutor got up there and said, we did have such an agreement, but let me tell you what we would have introduced had we gone there. It would have been like, because now the defense is like, we should have been able to do that. We're going to do that. You know, we could have talked about what a bad person Austin Metcalf was. And he's like, how about Karmelo Anthony, the actual defendant? Here's what I had in my back pocket. He says, first of all, Karmelo Anthony's girlfriend, Valeria, would have testified that that she went to school the morning of the stabbing, April 2nd, 2025, and she told school officials that she had broken up with Karmelo Anthony and that he was stalking her. So this had happened that morning. 1 hour later, Austin Metcalf was dead, according to the prosecutor. Clearly painting a picture of this kid, you know, so-called Karmelo Anthony, who was a hothead, who was angry that morning, in some level of emotional distress and turmoil already at the time he showed up.
So he murdered another person because of a girl that he broke up with and was having issues with. That's what really I don't understand is the implications that are being made here. I mean, it's almost pathetic to try and use that as a reason. Yes, this boy was disturbed. I'm not even going to take that away from you. I honestly believe that mentally he was going through something. He was living in a place that wasn't good for him. But notice the highlighting and wanting to take away any type of youth from Karmelo and not wanting to talk about any of the facts. I mean, this is what someone who talks about women's rights. We just read where it said Austin Metcalf pushed the girl down and punched her in the stomach. He received criminal charges for this. Punched her in the stomach after he pushed her down. This is someone who claims that they're for women's rights. That's what I don't get about these MAGA Barbies. They claim that they're for women's rights, but they defend men who hurt women. They talk about Carmelo Anthony, what he said and what he was acting like towards his girlfriend, but they don't talk about Austin Metcalf's actual violent behavior towards a girl. Isn't that interesting?
But the track meet, it's starting to come together, that hair trigger he had. But here's the real headline. So first of all, he texted the girlfriend, "I'm low-key on the verge." He texted her the morning of the stabbing. The verge of what? We're not sure exactly. However, the prosecutor says Anthony had a history of violence and...
No, I mean, Austin Metcalf is not on trial. He's in the dirt. He's fertilizing the ground right now. That's it. He's fertilizing the ground. That doesn't mean we're not going to talk about his history, though.
That he wanted to stab someone. Quote, "There is a text message where he fantasizes about stabbing someone and licking the blood off the blade," he said of Anthony. "He was obsessed with starting fights," said the prosecutor, and he was prepared to prove that, revealing Anthony had previously been taken by his parents to a special program at LSU for kids who cannot keep their hands to themselves.
So if that's the case, why didn't anybody take Austin Metcalf to that same program? I mean, he had criminal charges that stemmed from when he was in elementary school. How come he didn't attend a program? It sounds like, what it sounds like is like Carmelo's parents were being proactive. It sounds like they knew their child had a problem and they were trying to get him help. Versus the Metcalfs, their daddy was just letting them run buck wild. Isn't that interesting? Let's continue.
He went on to say, let's see, there was one of the...
First of all, this type of evidence usually only comes...
Okay, so here's what I find interesting, right? I just sat here. I started my video off with Austin Metcalf's history because that was the beginning of the article. I ended my video with all the evidence that they had on Carmelo, all the text messages and everything. Did you guys notice how they did not talk anything about any of the crimes and things that Austin they didn't talk about the girl, they didn't talk about the graffiti, they didn't talk about the racially charged language. They only want to talk about Carmelo's text messages. Let's forget the behavioral history that Austin Metcalf has and focus on the things that Carmelo Anthony said. Isn't it interesting how they're done talking about the evidence now? Now they're just going straight to opinions. And that is why you can't trust white media. You can't trust white people to be honest. You can't trust them to hold themselves accountable because this is what they do. As soon as they have an opportunity to twist the reality, they will. Because I just sat here and I read things to you that people would say condemns Carmelo. It shows his guilt. That's what people would say about things I read. Instead of this media choosing to do the same thing, which is to read incomplete Both of these boys' histories, they focus entirely on text messages that Karmelo sent. They didn't talk about the criminal charges that Austin and his brother got for pushing down a girl and punching her, for bullying a student, for disrespecting authority, calling a teacher out of her name, B word. They don't want to talk about any of that. They only want to talk about the text messages of Karmelo. And that should show you that when people are not willing to be fair and balanced, no matter what they think people are going to see, that you can't trust them. You can't trust a Megyn Kelly. Not that anyone ever did anyways. I know there's plenty of white people, so these channels will always get millions and thousands of views because white people like to hear what makes them feel comfortable. But you can't trust anything that a media that's willing to literally not give you both sides of the story just to prove their point. She could have proved her point by reading every part of Austin Metcalf's history and every part of Karmelo's. You would still get it would be the same effect though. You would see that Austin has a behaviorally violent history that tracks back to elementary school. And you'll see that for Karmelo, it happened when he was a teenager, when other people struggle, when other people become hormonal and start having mood and behavioral issues. They can't even be trusted to report fairly. The facts are not difficult. I can stomach everything I heard about Karmelo Anthony. Why is it that in their discussions they can't talk about the negative things that somebody who looks like them has done? If they could, we wouldn't be in this predicament. We would be able to have these conversations because we would be able to trust that white media is going to present both stories, but we cannot. Even in 2026, we can't trust that. Even in 2026, most of us have to come outside of our bodies and become voices. Because if we don't, we're just going to keep hearing the same lies, the same noise. And it's insane. It really is. It really is. So that's all I really got for you guys today. If you guys want to go watch any of those mediocre white people, you guys know where to find them, right? If you want to hear more of their takes, you know where to find them. But my point was I wanted to show you guys that you're not going to get the truth out of white media, right? The same racial propaganda that would support people wearing blackface, who would write articles and newspaper articles calling people super predators and painting stories to make certain people look innocent and certain people look guilty. That none of that has changed. We still have to push the media to be honest. We still can't trust that a media that is majority white is gonna be honest and fair at all. I'm not watching that BS either, Joshua. I'm over here getting tired just reviewing it with you guys. I'm getting tired just reviewing. So if anybody wants to go listen to that garbage, you can go listen to it. But the reality is I showed you and proved to you that these people are not going to be honest. They just don't have integrity in their bones. They don't. These type of media personalities who will do anything for a coin, they can't be trusted. We're not in a post-racial society yet. We haven't got there yet. If the media is willing to pay people to do what's going to be more profitable, which is to spread racial hate and propaganda, we're nowhere near any type of post-racial society. Nowhere near. So these conversations that people try to come in here and call me racist and call me prejudiced and tell me that I'm the one that's doing this, it's not even a worthwhile conversation because we haven't even evolved from the systems of white supremacy, because that's only in their delusional ass head is that they're supreme. We haven't even evolved those systems yet. That being said, I'm gonna send you guys off with some music. I haven't updated too much of my music, so you guys will be hearing my old anthems. Do me a favor on your way out. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, hype, engage with the conversation. Leave a comment. Let me know how you feel about this stream. Are you mad? Are you angry? Are you jealous? Do you feel like Black people are taking your jobs? If so, leave me a comment. I want to hear. I want to hear your rationale. And as long as you're not being inflammatory, you have a space here to speak. I'll see y'all in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your night. Let me just get some music up for you guys, and I'll see you next time.
Florabella on my screen, her smile it shines so bright. She's a queen with every scene, in the morning or the night. Recipes and good vibes flow, every video a gem. Her confidence it grows and grows, we're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows, she's where we all belong. With every like and every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong, she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Recipes and good vibes flow, every video a gem. Her confidence it grows and grows, we're inspired like her friends. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all the lows, she remains so strong. Her spirit always glows, she's where we all belong. Every share, we feel her energy. No storm too strong, she can't bear. She's setting us all free. Unstoppable Flora, she's got that power, spreading her aura, blossoming like a flower. Through the highs and all